Hello and welcome to UTB Blogcast number 96. I'm Erica, and with me tonight are Gabe, Roy, and Brad. They're throwing me off with their faces. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
All right. We've got a few things to talk about tonight. Let's jump in, first of all, with the news about BlackBerry and Slack. And I'll go ahead and start with that because I posted.
Yeah, it's all your fault.
I posted the article earlier this week. BlackBerry has entered a partnership with Slack to help them run their program on BlackBerry's secure platform, which I think is pretty awesome because it's giving business more options to have when they are working their system out together for their employees.
Well, you know, some people might think, why the heck is BlackBerry securing Slack, right? Because they've got BBM, and that's it is an enterprise chat platform, and Slack is an enterprise chat platform, but they handle things totally different, right? I mean, they're a completely different beast, both of them, even though they are enterprise chat platforms. And Slack is extremely popular, but Slack doesn't have the security of BlackBerry, and now BlackBerry UEM, used to be Bez, can secure that, right? I mean, that's one of the things that we're learning. Something else we're going to talk about a little later is BlackBerry UEM is capable of other programs or other devices over it and secure it. It is going to be for the enterprise. It's not going to be for us, you know, schmoes out here unless we are on an enterprise account. But it's great. I mean, it's absolutely great because realistically, in the enterprise world right now, Slack gets a lot more conversation than BBM, I believe. You know, as far as popularity, as far as people talking about it, Slack seems to be where it's at. I know that we've tried it a couple of times to manage UTB, but we just end up back in BBM. You know, we always keep our BBM as the chat, and the goal is to open up Slack to have like our work conversation and our work sharing and our work stuff over there because we just chat so damn much in BBM, but we never end up staying in Slack. I mean, I know, Erica, you were on it. Do you still have it on your phone?
I have it on my phone and my computer, but I honestly don't use it.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
a
lot of people that do. Yeah, there's a lot of people that do, and now BlackBerry will be securing it for those enterprise customers, which is good.
Well, I have it on my phone, and I use it every work day. We, like Brad says, tried to use it for us here at UTB. It sort of fell out of favor. I think maybe the culprit might be you're administering and going in and out of yet another messaging app. And we tried to use it. I sort of felt like it was redundant, and I think that just sort of that apathetic feeling sort of took over, and we all just ended up using groups within main groups on BBM. Instead, or again, however you want to call it, you know, for links and whatnot to articles and discussions on what we wanted to put out on the site. I use it every day at work. There's a piece of software and hardware actually that we sell, where all of the technical people all over planet Earth, mostly in the United States and Canada, but other places as well. We have that private place to discuss, you know, what's going on with that software and whatnot on a daily basis, and suggestions and help files and this and that and the other thing. So I'm familiar with it. I think it's a good platform. You know, is it better than BBM? Maybe I'm not as familiar with it as I ought to be, but I don't see it being better for much of a reason, but I think it has gotten traction. It is popular. Lots of people use it in their business, and I think BlackBerry was smart to include it if for their UEM offering, to be able to roll that out securely to any enterprise that wants to use it or to continue to use it, but in a more secure fashion. So
I think that's the thing. It's not really about being better or worse than BBM. It's just something different to give the end users more options and the enterprise users more options.
Mm-hmm. So good on them. I'm glad they did that, and if they did it with other systems and platforms, that there's enterprises and businesses, they like access to all the tools they can get, and to have them, which is more important than more important than it ever was, and increasingly so, to have those things, apps and abilities to be more secure. That almost trumps the platform you're using, if you get what I'm saying, to do what you're doing in a secure fashion.
And BlackBerry, they are members of the app config forum community. Since they released the BlackBerry Dynamics, I think, SDK, there are more than 1,000 apps, third-party apps that the BlackBerry UEM can manage. So every enterprise can basically release their own app to be managed by the BlackBerry UEM. And it will be, I think, good if BlackBerry will partner with Asana, with also a project app management, and Trello, and some other apps that enterprises are using. And I agree with Erica. They're not about pushing BBM to enterprises. They are about to give the end user just more options. If you give more options, people will choose you.
Yeah, they're trying to position themselves to be the people that everyone goes to. So to do that, they have to have a bigger portfolio, and that app config developer helps with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Now, I think this is on Dave, because I'm not sure. This is something I haven't really followed this week. Chen was in Indonesia? Or he's going to Indonesia?
He's still in Jakarta.
Okay.
Yeah, he went to Jakarta, and I heard he had a really good time at a party. That's all I know.
He met with Amtech CEO.
Here you go.
So pictures on Twitter, and he met with the big carriers in Indonesia to check what's going on with the BlackBerry Aurora, and of course the enterprise users in the country.
Yeah, I also heard that he later that day, I think he said he was going to go meet with although he didn't name them, the existing hardware manufacturer, so Merah-Putih, just to, I guess, talk to them about the future plans, get a grip on how their Aurora sales were going and whatnot. Yeah. Aurora. Yeah.
Aurora.
Aurora or something. Anyway, yeah.
Why do people listen to us?
Because we're mildly entertaining if you're drunk. I'm not sure.
Mentally insane.
Yeah. So he did admit that he wasn't sure what the numbers were, but he was hoping to get them later that day. And I'm curious too, although we might never know. And looking for other partnerships, I think, as Roy touched on. So, and I think he was popped a question about if he was looking for any acquisition opportunities, and of course, always being coy, which rhymes with Roy. Anna Royra. He wasn't, you know, you could tell the look on his face. He was obviously looking around at things like that, but he obviously didn't want to say. So interesting. And then there was silence.
Yeah, what's interesting for me is the meeting with Amtech CEO about what we're talked about.
Futures, BBM futures, you mean?
Yeah.
Did you hear any tidbits or nuggets or pearls of wisdom?
No.
No nuggets,
That's
no
what-
pearls?
No, I'm hungry.
We're lousy miners. What can I tell you?
It did say that Indonesia have 6 million BlackBerry users, and he spoke about the North Korea situation for some reason.
Yeah, well, I think he got asked that question about, I don't know why people chuck political questions at him. I guess maybe it's because he's a smart person, and so people like to ask questions that have nothing to do with the subject matter.
I think it's because so many of the other mega tech companies all have mega opinions on this stuff, and they think that they matter to everybody else.
Well, yeah, I guess the other thing was, now that I recall, part of it was being asked about opening up or growing BlackBerry opportunities in South Korea. And that's what led to the tension between South and North, and then the subject at hand overall, to which he replied that he was an optimist and figured things would work themselves out. And I think he also said there was something like 260 or 270 million people in the area. We're talking back in Indonesia now. And 175 million of them were smartphone users.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting stat. And he said, you have to carve out the really young people. And then he had to catch himself, I think, if you go look at the interview again, I think he had to catch himself, and instead of saying, and the really old people, he said, and some other people too. Thinking quickly. Quick interview, though. I think it was only 6 minutes long.
Yeah, I'm following BB Meraputing on Instagram and Twitter, and it seems that they are marketing the device. It seems that it's going pretty well in Indonesia.
Well, that's good.
I still want to get my hands on their camera software. I want to try that.
Yeah, I think people have tried, and I don't think that there's been any success with that, skinning that APK out. Well, yeah, I'm sure you can skin it out easily enough, but I don't think you get much out of it when you put it back in somewhere else. At least that's the rumor.
Next up, Erica.
Next up is the IFA Berlin 2017.
Oh yeah, well, that was an open question as far as I was concerned. Like, what the heck? Everybody guess, because apparently there's supposed to be some kind of an announcement. What are they going to announce there, Brad?
I'm clueless at this point. I mean, we haven't really heard much of anything about the next device yet, right? I mean, I think we all have a general idea of what it's going to be, but we haven't heard anything. I don't think we're going to get an announcement of the next device. I don't think so.
No.
No?
I don't.
No. If you saw the teaser, it says clearly the BlackBerry Key 1, and it's all black. So
what countries are left? Where else can they put this thing?
here?
I think they will release the Black Edition in Europe, and they will announce it in Germany. My guess.
Have we still?
I don't know.
Have we figured anything out yet as far as who's actually manufacturing that thing?
The Black device?
Yeah.
Depend where are you going to sell it.
I'm
Well,
not
the one
sure I
that's-
understand the question.
The one that's being sold in India was the assumption was, and everybody jumped on that.
Built by Optimus, helped by TCL.
Yeah, except the initial wave of them are built in by TCL. And the next
China.
wave.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next wave will be built in. Because there's even, the famous, name scratched out and another sticker in crayon. It's that is what it is. It's built by TCL in China and manufactured for and sold in India, and then it will be, I think the next wave or the wave after that will be built in India for sale in that area. But are there going to be other opportunities? I don't know. TCL obviously is willing to be loose with the platform, so
Yeah.
who knows? Not sure.
I would love to be a fly on the wall as to how all that worked out, because I mean, in my head, you've got BlackBerry and they've got a deal with Optimus and they got a deal with Miraputi and they've got a deal with TCL, and that's the communication, but linked, right? And do you think that BlackBerry was the one doing that, or do you think that was generated between the two companies?
I think it's a combination. I think BlackBerry, working with both companies, and both companies, TCL and Optimus, are working together, at least in the beginning, because it's much easier to release a new phone that it's already in the market if you get help from the other partner to give you some parts and everything Optimus need to release the device so fast.
Yeah, and I don't think TCL has the right at all to sub-license something like the Key One, whether it had the same or better specs or whatever.
The Key One design is BlackBerry design, not TCL.
Right. And that
but I mean, it has to go hand in hand with the software, and there's no way that TCL can let somebody else be plonking that onto a machine built by who cares who. Only BlackBerry is going to let somebody do that, not a third party.
All right. Well, I mean, I think it was Alex on our blogcast said that is licensed to all of the partners, all of their former designs. So that I recall Roy asking if that meant that Optimus could build one, or if Miraputi could. But it's just the fact that it's actually a TCL phone. It's just that's what's shocking to me, right? Because it's like there's some sort of deal going on there that I wouldn't have expected.
I think maybe TCL sold some parts to Optimus.
Maybe Optimus is selling adhesive to TCL. That's their trade-off.
Could be.
Too soon.
I don't know. I think Brad is putting glue and glue together.
But the meaning of all of that is that we see more BlackBerry devices in countries that we didn't saw before, like China. I think this is the big issue, the big news of this week.
Yep. That's huge.
You can be a small player in China and still sell 10 million devices, but you will be number 6 or 7 in the list.
What's the most popular piece of gear in China right now, do you think? Is it a Xiaomi or Huawei, or what is it?
both of them, I think, are.
Yeah, those are top brands over there, I believe.
And you have some local brands that not selling in outside China.
Yeah.
I think Apple are 6 or 7.
Yeah, they dropped out of the top 5 a few
Yeah.
months ago.
And they
Oh,
sell
really?
like
Yeah.
millions of devices.
Dave.
Oh, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
I just forgot to plug in my my laptop, so it's gonna die soon. So if you don't
That's
mind,
a first.
I'm just digging out my power supply and carry on. Don't you know? Yeah, really good one.
What's next on the list, Erica?
You guys are burning them through them fast. The only thing I've looked on
We are.
the only thing I've looked on the list is the new old reboot on UTB.
We'll save that for last. We had other
That
stuff.
is-
Did it not make it to the list?
That is my last one.
We had other stuff, Missy.
Not on the post.
Well, talking about UEM, how about those fancy new,
That's it.
not Google specs,
Yeah. Vuzix. I don't know how to say it.
Vuzix. I think Vuzix is as good as anything else. And I'm not sure what looks goofier, Google Glass or the Vuzix. But here we go. And I thought about it, and at my initial reaction, because my original reaction to Google Glass was absolutely venomous. I disliked that platform. I dislike what it represents from a consumer perspective. I applauded the restaurants and different places that banned them from entering their establishments and whatnot. I disliked the 1984 type of things that a lot of that represented. So when I first saw this Vuzix stuff, where's my tinfoil hat? Anyway.
No.
When I first saw this Vuzix stuff and the fact that BlackBerry was going to be securing it for enterprise, of course, those old feelings came back, and it's the same thing or very similar in a slightly different looking package. They are Android based. I took a look at them today. There's 2 models. BlackBerry's securing the higher end model, which I think is called an M300. So there's 2 units. There's an M300 and an M100. And I started thinking about it, and I could see some business applications for it. Let's be honest. I could see somebody, even a doctor, being able to see some information available to them, either be it about a patient or a procedure or whatever, and performing a task, be it as mundane as dealing with a wart situation or even a surgery situation or whatever. I could see technical people using that kind of a thing. I just don't like your everyday application of it with information gathered going to some foreign server for some intended purpose I never intended my information being used for. But that being said, it's out there. It's an Android based, 2 different models. The M300 looks like $1,500 spend, and the M100 is a $1,000 spend. I'm assuming those are US prices, and I'm assuming that the capabilities are similar to Google Glass. Not sure if it's exactly the same list of features, but it's close enough.
Well, like the minute we put up that post, I immediately took that link and I shared it to Blackjack, because Blackjack and my secondary phone are in a different group with Bigly, right? So I was like, yeah, Show this to Bigley. See if he's still anti-glass, right? Because remember, he's the guy that came up with the glass hole name, I believe.
Oh, I thought that was me.
Yeah, but don't forget, these smart glasses are for enterprise users, not consumers.
But
So,
BlackBerry is
that's
securing smart glasses for the enterprise users. But those glasses are also a consumer product if you go look at them.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
So, I mean, yeah, Google kind of shelved what they were doing, and I do believe they started to bring them back as a enterprise type
How many consumers really buying the smart glasses?
None. Because I mean, that's a conversation I want to have.
Yeah.
That's the conversation I want to have, because I mean, Dave's thinking more along the lines of professional needs for the glasses with the doctors and technical people. I'm looking more along the lines of production, right? Or even logistics. When you look at how these companies are like an Amazon or anybody that's doing any sort of replenishment, you look at all these companies. They all have these hand zappers, these handguns. They're running around. They're scanning UPCs or QR codes, and it's like they got to throw that back in the holster or whatever they've got it in, and then grab their items. This is something that frees up both your hands. I mean, I could totally see this in that type of environment being really useful, a real time saver, a real productivity booster. There's also times that I could see a consumer need for it, where I'd be like, you know what, I think that'd be kind of cool. I could see it when I'm driving, as far as having like a HUD, right? A heads up display, even though it's not legal to wear them while you're driving, but I could see that being a use for it. And there's plenty of times that I wish I could get my camera out fast enough to take a picture. It's like, oh, you know what, if I had a camera on my glasses, that'd be cool. But I'm not comfortable with the fact that people walk around and it's not a case of me grabbing a picture that I want, but it's a case of somebody else grabbing a picture I didn't know they took. Does that make sense? I do have privacy concerns with that, and I can totally see where like theaters could have concerns, not privacy concerns, but piracy concerns.
Yeah, I mean, all the Pee Wee Hermans of this planet would be horrified with,
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think that anyone will buy smart glasses, at least with those designs. And before there will be laws and rules for where you can use them and how you can use them without causing any privacy or something.
For
enterprise users,
there have been smart glass Kickstarters, and there's been camera glass Kickstarters that look like smart glasses, but they didn't have all the smart functionality, and they met their goals immediately. So there's obviously a market for it, but these are also not $1,000 glasses. These are a couple $100 or something along those lines.
Yeah, and your example, Brad, wasn't outside of what I was thinking about. It's just another branch of some enterprise use case, and so I completely and utterly get that. That sounds like a great idea. The Amazon worker or any warehouse worker who receives a pallet or a pile of stuff, whether it's incoming or outgoing, and you want to capture some information through serial numbers or those QR codes. Bar scans, whatever it is, there's a use case there. I get that. That's none of those things really bother me. What bothers me is the public's use of it, or if I want to use it at my house. I always hated the idea of Google having, my house view on top of street view, even if it was only metadata that they were capturing. They would know the full dimensions and layout of my house inside and could assume whatever they wanted to assume with that. I hated that idea.
Have you put duct tape over your camera on your phone?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, just checking.
And I have a story from Israel about basically the same thing. People now using drones. Everybody can buy drone, and people were flow the drones in the beaches, and take a picture of ladies, women that are with bikini or nude or whatever. And now there is a
That's what you do with your
about it.
drone? Okay.
So
There is a
where
lawsuit
can I find
about
those,
it.
Roy?
You should go to
Which
Tel
one
Aviv Beach.
Did you get a DJI or which one did you get, Roy?
So now you are not allowed to use drones in the beach because there are privacy concerns. So it's the same with the
Yeah.
smart glasses.
Yeah, Canada came up with some fairly harsh rules against UAVs or drones. I won't bore you with that because it gets off topic, but yeah, it's a thing.
My question on this, because I totally understand it. I don't like it because the same reason I would like to have it is the same reason why I wouldn't want other people to have it, right? I'd like to have it because it's convenient. I wouldn't have to be grabbing for my phone to take a picture. You know, what is it, just double blink or whatever the rule is, and you snap a picture. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, I can just walk along and do it. I can do it real quick and easy. At the same time, it's like seeing someone fumbling for their phone to take a picture, you know, and they could be snapping it as they go. But realistically, there's no difference between the camera on those glasses and your smartphone camera or a point and shoot camera or, you know, that has Wi-Fi ability. Because I'm going back to Dave talking about it sitting on Google server and going back to one of the comments that we got on that post about, you know, I don't want my pictures on that. So it's like, well, wait a minute. All of us here talking right now, our phones are Android phones. Do you think that every one of your photos is going and sitting on Google server somewhere? Personally, I turned off Google Photos, so mine aren't.
Yeah, no,
I don't use it either.
I see the comment that I think you're speaking of, and if you see who commented this comment and what he commented, I'm not agree. You're speaking about your kind of throat Google or smart idiot glasses project sucked big time. It was not lack of consumer interest, and that's been commented by a person that I don't know if he ever managed a project like smart glasses or even know the real issues about the smart glasses. You just hate Google.
But he does go on to say something about the photos being on servers, which is exactly what Dave said
even today
5 minutes ago.
Everyone can picture you without you notice.
Yeah.
There are PIs or people like that know how to do it. So
and everybody's got a camera phone and everybody's taking photos everywhere.
Yeah,
but
I get that. And if you go to the UK especially, or I don't know where else, but in the UK, I'll just use that as an example. There is CCTV everywhere, and the cops and the GCHQ or whatever they call themselves, they are on that like white on rice. They depend on that. It's a helpful security based. You know, that was the reason for it. I don't know what else they use it for, but that's the reasoning behind having cameras everywhere. And I get that. I just dislike being the unwitting recipient of someone wanting to take video or pictures or capturing audio of me without my permission. I don't like the idea of individuals being able to do that on the sly. You know, if someone wants to take a picture of me with their smartphone, I might be able to pick that up with a sideways glance.
I agree.
In a dark room or with a flash on there, or if somebody had a point and shoot camera, you know, that's even more obvious, and I can I can deal with those things because they're obvious. But if someone's going to sit in the table beside or behind me and record what I'm saying or doing or whatever without my knowledge, I'm just not jiggy with that. I got a problem with that.
Although right now those smart glasses would be really hard to miss.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they are, as Roy was alluding to, they are freaking obvious and really rather ugly. You know, so it's obvious what you're hopefully going to do with them, which is hopefully an enterprise application where you can look goofy and get paid for it, and you know,
Goofy but professional.
yeah, goofessional.
Professional.
At the same time, though, because I do think we might be, we're a little more focused on the tech aspect of it, right? Because right now, any of us could go and for less than $20, you can get on Amazon or what's the other thing, Wish or the Geek app on Android, and get video recording glasses. We could get body cams that look like buttons, you know, those little pins that, you know, every teenage boy wanted to sneak into the girls' room back when we were in high school, or the locker room, not the girls' room. What just happened? No, I'm not into that. Locker room, one thing. Yeah, never mind. But I mean, these are things that have been around for 20 years that we could be walking next to right now. That's a whole lot less obvious than a pair of smart glasses. And I think we're just kind of focusing on it. And I think the law's focused on it because it was such a headline. You know, we don't see movie theaters checking people's eyeglasses to see if they've got a camera lens in them. You know, we don't have them looking at our buttons to see if we've got a body cam. But they sure wanted to react on those smart glasses.
Yeah.
Say what?
I still prefer the original target of the size of my glasses. I like to watch, to see through them.
You like to watch, okay. That's something we didn't know.
I look smart.
Information. Yes, those are
smart glasses.
Smart glasses, yeah. Right. We can see right through that, Roy. Hey, speaking of that, what was it, Snapchat that came out with glasses? Snap Glass, or what the hell was it? Whatever happened to that crap?
Failure. Failure.
Snap flop?
There's the I mean, they came out, they went around, they sold them out of a goofy looking machine that would pop up in places. And yeah, I mean, they looked absolutely ridiculous. I think they're still selling them. I'm not sure, to be honest.
I don't think I've ever seen it in the wild.
No, not at all.
I don't think so. Maybe I don't get out enough. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, it was another one of those things where I could see the purpose of a camera and glasses, you know, convenience. You know, even when we're doing the little like review videos and unboxings and things of that nature, I could see having those. But like those Snap glasses, they only recorded what, 10, 30 seconds at a time? It was really ridiculous. And I'm not willing to spend $1,200 on a pair of glasses that that's going to provide less functionality than my phone, right? I don't know. I'm not willing to say it's a dead product. I'm not willing to say that. I can see it having a purpose, and I can see it having a future. And I think that a lot of our fears and reasons why we don't want it to have a future, I think we're just being a little biased on it because we pay attention to the tech while we're ignoring stuff that's been around for most of our lifetimes right now.
Yeah, well, those
not Dave's.
Those Snap glasses. They make you look like Elton John wannabe or something as well. And I don't know. Maybe it'll make a comeback. Yeah. Could be. You never know. It could happen.
Those were horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, if I saw them, I'd want to smash them on a yellow brick road. But that's just me.
Anything else talked about tonight?
I just felt like there was more. We missed a week. Should we talk about Wayno? He's not here. We could. Okay.
Well, yeah, that's always fun. Hey, guess what I did? Not that you don't already know, but I factory reset my phone again. And I had been having a nasty time. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because I swear to God, it was an update that I got over the air that killed the music Bluetooth playing in my car. And I am so happy now that I've got Spotify back in my car. Yay, commercial-free music without a wire. It works again. So if anybody out there is having a Bluetooth problem, music streaming in their car, bite the bullet, do a factory reset. Worked for me. I thought there was something wrong with my car.
I did a factory reset this week too.
You lucky guy. But the funny thing was that I could have Bluetooth telephone conversations in my car, no problem. But streaming audio, no.
I got to try mine again because I was having issues with my music. Actually, it sounds like about the same thing. It would disconnect when I went to play my music, but everything else is fine.
Interesting.
Maybe I was doing the same thing you were.
Was that happening on your Key One or your Priv or both?
My Key One, and yeah, it was rather recently.
Okay. Well,
because it wasn't doing it before. I made the video with it.
Yeah, that's right. We're on a different software stream, but I had the same problem on my Priv, and the Priv and the DTEC are on the same software stream, and neither one of them could stream music in the car, but phone calls worked. So that's why I thought it was the car.
Headphones. Bluetooth headphones, no problem, right?
No problem with any other device streaming music, including little Bluetooth speakers, any other kind of audio device except for the car, which is why I thought it was the car.
It's the same issue for me.
Yeah.
Well, my thing, because I do want to mention this just because I want to see if anybody else has had that happen to them. I had a location-based glitch. And you guys know all about it because I was crying to you guys trying to figure it out. Nobody knew what was going on.
Well,
but I was setting up a wireless drive.
A lot of the suggestions didn't come out very quickly because it's hard to type when you're rolling all over the floor laughing.
Well, that's the thing. I had a wireless drive. I was setting it up and I glitched it. Like I did a reset during the setup because it froze, and it should have been fine. Well, except that after that point, once it rebooted, when I went to open my Wi-Fi, it would just cycle. Nothing would happen. I couldn't pull up a single Wi-Fi network. Wasn't my router, wasn't my Wi-Fi at all, because every other device I have would see it. It would connect to it. I have like 8 different Wi-Fi networks around my house that my devices pick up. My Key One wouldn't see a single thing. But if I drove down the block, everything worked. And then when I came back home, it wouldn't work anymore. It was a location-based glitch.
Yeah, the black hole of Wi-Fi.
Yeah, and when I finally decided I'm just going to wipe my phone and start fresh, I go and, to wipe your phone, you go into the security, punch in your PIN, hit enter, and it asks you if you want to. I could punch in my PIN. I couldn't even hit enter. Like, it wouldn't happen. I couldn't shut down my phone without, like, you hit restart. Nothing would happen. It would just sit there cycling. You'd have to do a forced reset. Phone would turn off. Phone would restart. I was able to wipe my phone just by driving away from my house.
And so, just to be clear, I don't think you told us what the product was that created this grief for you, which we think was because you loaded the app and tried to use it to set this device up in your while you were in your house.
I know where the glitch happened. It's a WD wireless drive. It's an
all-in-one unit, right?
Yeah, it looks great. I still haven't been able to play with it, but you go through, I already have the app on my phone because it's the same app that you use for your cloud drive. You just have to set up the drive. So you connect to its Wi-Fi network because it has its own hotspot. And then you connect, once you're connected to it from your device, you connect the drive to your home Wi-Fi so that you can still get Wi-Fi while connected to the device, or internet anyway.
Yeah.
And that was where it was. It says, hold on a minute, we're connecting you to the internet. And it just sat there, and it sat there for too long, and I'm an impatient man. So I hit reset, and everything went wrong. Everything.
Okay, let me ask you this. I want to go roll on the floor again, but before I do that, I want to ask this question. And the question is, did you try this on your Priv next, or are you scared?
I did it that night. I tried it on my Priv, and it worked perfect, except that when it says, hold on, we're connecting you to the internet, I was more patient, and it actually connected me to the internet, and I didn't have any issue. It just takes a while.
Okay.
So I blame Dave.
You know what? Canadians, we're like, it's okay. You can blame me, blame all of us. I don't care.
You're not really Canadian even.
It's all good. We're like that. You can blame us and we'll offer you some back bacon and some maple flavored snow or something.
Okay, so if anybody's had any sort of issues like that, that was the first I've ever heard of, first I've ever seen. I would love to know how that happened, that it was completely location based. There's no denying it.
Yeah,
over 2 days.
But
yeah, over 2 days.
It was all started by trying to set up this WD drive, that all-in-one Wi-Fi drive that you could stick in your car and still have all your media via Wi-Fi. It's like a Wi-Fi hotspot drive, 2 terabyte drive. And what was the name of the app again? W or MyCloud or WD Cloud.
MyCloud, that's it.
Right.
It's MyCloud, which it's not the greatest of apps, but it works. It works. And I mean, I have no problems with the app. It can be a little slow sometimes, but I had no problem setting up my cloud drive. But this portable drive, wow.
Right. Because the other drive is hardware based. It's Ethernet. You plug it in, or is it USB, or what is it?
Yeah, you just plug it into your router and it's cloud based. So it's just like having a Dropbox. Yeah. But you have the actual drive in your house.
Right. Okay. Well, it killed your Wi-Fi, and I have no explanation except that it's not very nougat friendly. I don't know.
It's because I reset it while it was connecting me to the Wi-Fi through the device. I know that's what broke it.
And that's my fault, is it?
Yes, it
right.
is.
Quite.
I'm pretty sure you were talking in group, and I wanted
to
read it, and I didn't want to wait for the drive. I don't know. I just can't believe it was location based. Like, it knew where I was, and it says no. You're not going to be able to use your phone right. I kind of want to be able to use my phone at home. If it would have happened down the street, I'd be fine.
EP phone at home. Well, that's a bummer. But
I'm all good now.
Yeah.
I will say that, because I mean, I'm a huge fan of BlackBerry Android, right? I have moved completely from BlackBerry 10 to BlackBerry Android, and unless there is a fairly good major update to BlackBerry 10, I don't see myself ever going back to BlackBerry 10. I hope there's a major update and I do go back, but the way it stands right now, I can just do so much more on BlackBerry Android than BlackBerry 10. But I will say that setting up a BlackBerry, no, setting up any Android phone compared to setting up a BlackBerry 10 phone should be considered torture like waterboarding. There's nothing fun. Like every one of my phones, I always set them up fresh. I even like when we loaded leaks and did all that stuff way back in the day, I never restored my phone. I always started fresh. It just seemed like it was a better idea to do. And man, it's hell setting up an Android phone to get it the way you like it. It really is. Like I love my Android BlackBerry phones. I love them. I don't want to ever set one up again.
So would you, whatever the percentage is a certain percentage of the pain based on the fact that an Android phone doesn't come with all the basic applications like music and file manager and stuff like that, and videos and whatever. You know, you have to go get them again and maybe sign into an account again and do this and that again and again and again. Whereas when you start up a BlackBerry 10 phone, all that crap's there.
Well, no, I'm not even going to say that, because I mean, you may not be installing and signing into as much on a BlackBerry 10 phone because there's just not as many apps on a BlackBerry 10 phone, but still loading apps and signing in. So, and that's a pain no matter which platform you're on. It's probably a bigger pain because you have more apps on Android. But my problem is that I use my BlackBerry Android like a BlackBerry 10. That I still use the BlackBerry workflow, right? And there's a lot, these phones are Android phones and they default to Android settings that I don't use. You know, it's like I have to go into settings and turn off so much to get a BlackBerry Android phone to operate like a BlackBerry phone, right? I make sure that the only notifications I get are coming through Hub. Every other thing I have to go into each individual app and turn off all the notifications. Same with like the heads up notifications and the sound and all that. It's just I go in and I turn off pretty much everything that doesn't operate like every BlackBerry phone I've always had, BBOS and BB.
Me too. And to the point where I even forgot where the hell I go to turn off vibrate when a new email comes in, because I just don't want that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Give me a light bulb and maybe a noise.
And every email account you set up.
Don't waste your battery on vibrating the phone, you idiot thing.
I've got a lot of email accounts, and that default screen when you set it up, everything's checkmarked. So unless you're going through each time you set it up and unchecking boxes, which I do, so that's part of it too. But you know, you end up getting the shortcut on your home screen for that mail, and it's a pain.
Okay, so here's a question. Time for truth or dare without the dare, maybe. Who here thinks that 10.3.4 will happen? 10.3.4 on BB10. Who thinks it's going to happen?
6 months ago, I would have swore it was.
And now you're shaking your head.
It will not happen.
I don't think so.
What about you, Roy?
Not happen.
You don't think it's going to happen?
No.
I just don't think there's enough users anymore.
Erica, what about you?
I think if it was going to happen, it will be out already.
Yeah, me too.
I
just don't think there's much of a call for it. And I mean, I know that we see a lot of BlackBerry 10 users because we're UTB, you know, but I have a feeling that we're seeing all of them.
Maybe. I'll put it this way. I think it'll happen, and it may be just in name only if and when BlackBerry 10 needs a security update for some reason, be it FIPS or something else, for government, business, or industry, whatever. And it might just be in name only. Like, why not change that digit? and maybe that's what 1034 is. I don't know, but that to me, I think if we're going to see those numbers, that might be the only reason why.
That brings up another talking point, because this is something that made headlines, and BlackBerry responded on Inside BlackBerry, and then Marty Beard responded on, I think it was Globe and Mail, where what was it? It's the end of an end of an era when one of your Canadian states up there, or whatever it was,
Canadian states.
I'm
like
I'm blanking out right now.
What? Yeah. Province, maybe?
Well, it's your your province. You guys talk funny.
Yeah, one of our igloos.
But they're allowing the government employees to purchase.
I have to go roll on the floor again.
But they're allowing Samsung, right? They're allowing other platforms now, which BlackBerry is securing. BlackBerry still has the UEM contract. But the reason for that was because BlackBerry is not offering those phones anymore, and they haven't in 2 years as far as a new upgrade phone. So, I mean, I have a feeling that is what's taking place with a lot of these companies that were running or are running BB10. If there's not an upgrade path,
like there isn't 3 choices from BlackBerry that do exactly the same frickin' thing, and some of it better. So, what?
Again, not made by BlackBerry.
So what?
They're made by BlackBerry. They're made by BlackBerry Mobile. That's I'm saying what the explanation was of why they chose to allow other things. You can't get a BlackBerry 10 phone, which is what they've been using. And BlackBerry saying, look, we can secure these phones. And they're still securing them, and they are the exclusive contract for the MDM. But the companies are, I mean, honestly, what is there to hold them to BlackBerry devices when BlackBerry can secure, as far as what they're looking at, a Samsung phone as well as they can this phone from the MDM standpoint?
Yeah, well, I think it was perhaps much ado about nothing. And you can call it the end of an era if you want to. But to me, it's just the realistic manifestation of what happens when BlackBerry quits making their own hardware. If you didn't see this coming, then somebody glued your eyes shut, and they should have used that glue on the key one screen. But anyway, it's just a simple fact. The downside or the bummer is, if you're looking at a Department of Defense kind of a situation, nobody can say that an Android device is as tightly secured as a BlackBerry 10 unit is. How close it is, or how much difference that is, I don't know. I'm not into, I just don't know enough to be able to tell you why they're not there yet, but they aren't.
Well, let's look at it from what we've heard, not what was published, but what we heard is, what was it? I'm sure you remember this, Roy, but the BlackBerry Android Marshmallow was as secure as 10.3.2 is what they were saying. And that they were saying going forward, within 6 months, they had said it would be as secure as 10.3.3. Well, now we're on Nougat. I have no problem believing that BlackBerry Android Nougat is as secure or more secure than 10.3.3, because that was the plan. Our personal phones that aren't connected to an MDM, it's not connected to anything, just our phones, they're not going to be hacked, they're not going to be rooted. Now, when you're talking about mobile device management, and you're talking about securing the files and securing the business's property that's on these phones, is there any difference between a BlackBerry 10 phone, a BlackBerry Android phone, or a Samsung phone when it's being secured by BlackBerry UEM? You think yes?
Yeah.
That's a monosyllable positive that needs explanation.
I don't think there's much different, but I think there is a difference.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what that is. You know, I don't know what it is.
Small difference.
I hope there
To
is.
secure
I don't
the
think
device,
there
if you
is.
can't root, have a more encryption, but maybe do those 2 points.
Not sure.
We need somebody that we can ask about that.
Now, who
Work
could
on that,
we
Eric.
get on? Yeah. Who could we get on?
BlackBerry. Maybe the chief secure.
Hey.
Who could we get on?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it, she said. Okay. I trust that. Hey.
Oh, and the
Even
$1 million.
Even though I'm in Canada, I saw my first key one in the wild today.
Really?
First one. Went out for lunch. Boom. Guy sitting right next to me, the next table over. Key one.
Here's a question. Did you talk to him about it?
No, I would have hit my
What the
head.
hell is wrong with you?
I would have hit my head because he was outside and I was inside, and there was a pane of glass, which was a bit of a pain. So I couldn't talk to him.
That's when you tap the glass, look him square in the eye.
Yeah, it might have freaked him out because, you know, maybe he would have thought I wanted his chicken wings or something.
This is why you don't have friends, Brad.
But I'm fun. I'm very fun.
It's why we can't have nice things. Yeah.
No, I make it a point. I mean, it's been a long time since I've seen a BlackBerry in the wild, but when I see a BlackBerry in the wild, I make it a point to speak to that person, you know, and you know, if anybody that drives a Jeep or has ever driven a Jeep or knows somebody that drives a Jeep, there's a thing. You know it. You're nodding, Dave. What's the thing with the Jeeps?
They're crap. I had a Jeep Cherokee, and I am so sorry I did that. But that's not what your point was. It was the same thing with motorcycle riders. Everybody who rides a motorcycle, they're going, you know, in opposite directions. They wave at each other because you're another motorcycle rider. Well, it's the same thing with Jeep owners, especially the guys in the CJs and whatnot. Those guys.
And if there's a Jeep stranded on the side of the road, you go and you help them when you're in.
They're the off-roaders, and they're in that club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a club.
And that's how us BlackBerry users should be. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm normally that way. I just didn't feel like planting my nose on the glass, and, you know. I would have looked like that kid from Home Alone. Yeah. Not that that's a good idea anymore.
Brad, are you ready to talk about Geek?
You brought it up. I'm not so sure I have anything to talk about, Geek.
Who's a geek? We're all geeks.
I blogged my first geek post on UTB Blogs last night. Was it last night? And I've been waiting for outrage on it, and I haven't got any yet, because we used to have UTB Blogs and we had UTB Geek, right? UTB Blogs was our BlackBerry site. UTB Geek was our fun little site on the side to talk about geeky type things, whatever it is that we enjoy. And I think that we were spreading ourselves kind of thin in some places, and UTB Geek was definitely neglected. And as I've written on the post a few times, it really made it hard to have a geek site when you couldn't talk about mobile tech in it, because anything mobile tech went to UTB Blogs. So we've kind of rearranged the site. We did this a month or so ago, and I think I just finished it probably earlier this month as far as putting the little badges there, where I kind of, my intention is to have UTB blogs. UTB blogs be our everything site, right? And within that site, you have 4 different sites. We have UTB BlackBerry, which is everything that UTB blogs always has been. We have UTB Geek, which we've essentially killed the Geek site and just brought it over to blogs. We're now all of our non-BlackBerry mobile news. So when an iPhone blows up, a Samsung blows up, something blows up, it goes into UTB Geek, plus our Geek news. UTB Networks, which is just our, right now it's just the blogcast, but Roy's had a podcast before, Erica's had a podcast before, I've had a podcast before. Dave is shy and lazy, so he hasn't had a podcast. But any of our podcasts, or if someone starts a video series, something along those lines, will all go to UTB Networks. And what am I missing? UTB Secure, the new one, which is all of our,
I should smack you for that.
yeah, all of our cybersecurity news. So I've been very hesitant to post anything geek on UTB Geek, because anything UTB Secure has always gone on UTB. Anything UTB Networks has always gone on UTB. Obviously BlackBerry. So the only real difference is including Geek into blogs. And I'm just waiting to hear from readers if they think that's a good thing or bad thing that it's included.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that too. I mean, call a spade. We've seen other sites, do not the same thing, but sort of similar things, and almost, you kind of get a negative vibe out of stuff like that. And we're trying really hard not to.
I called people out for it, but my thing was they went cross-platform, right?
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that
they weren't talking about, yeah.
Just from a third-party point of view, you could get the feeling that when you open up a UTB website and see this, Batman movie thing or whatever you got going, then you're going, what the hell is, we've spent 3 years doing this thing, and now I'm looking at this like, so, nobody wants it to be a surprise or a negative or a take anything away from what we've been doing for 3 freaking years. It's like, how do we incorporate, this thing that we've also always been doing for 2.5 years or whatever. Cause the Geek thing happened within 6 months or so. And it was always separate. Nobody ever saw it. If all they cared about was UTB and BlackBerry, they never saw that stuff because there was no sharing. And now that it's here, but not necessarily in your face all that much, because there isn't that many articles being written yet. What do people think? Or please don't be horrified, because it's not the intent. It's not the intent to deflect or take away from anything BlackBerry related, and that's not it.
UTB Geeks readers were all UTB Blogs readers. Now, not all of UTB Blogs readers went to UTB Geek, that's for sure. A very small percentage of them did. But all of the Geek readers were definitely Blogs readers. So, I mean, that's my fear, is that I know that when certain sites that were around before, they went cross-platform. They went from being a BlackBerry fan site to talking about BlackBerry, talking about Apple, talking about Samsung, and, all with the same tonality of it, right? It's like, here's the news. This is the news. And we're definitely not doing that. We've always talked about Apple. We've always talked about Samsung, but there's a definite change in the tone. We are BlackBerry fans, and iPhones are crap. And we will post news articles that prove what we think. That's always been the way it's been, and that isn't changing at all. But again, we're changing the flavor of the site by adding this other stuff to it. But at the same time, our priority has always been, which is why Geek got neglected, our priority has always been the mobile tech. It's always been BlackBerry. And there are times like right now when the news cycle is just really slow. And I'd rather be putting something on the site than nothing on the site, which is kind of the way it's been going for the last couple of weeks. I feel like there's just been, I think we've got all the news up, but there just hasn't been very much news. And I'm really tired of my news feed just being, so what's the secret of the new iPhone? So tired of that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather read about Batman. Come on, it's Adam West.
I know. It's like, you know, from beyond the grave or something like that. What can I tell you? Anyway, from I've read, speaking of BlackBerry, I've read about a secret squirrel code that you can dial on your phone that reveals some interesting information. So if you go into your phone, which is an app, right? Your phone app, and you dial *2886#, you'll see some secret squirrel information. Who's going to do it?
I'm afraid here. *266#?
No. *2886#. I'll do it.
I got it. What the heck is this thing here, buddy?
Okay,
What
so
is
I'm going to do it to
Read it. I can't see.
*2886#. So it shows a screen that says mobile phones. Mine says Argonne America's MMI test SW0226. This is all identifying your phone. Serial number 39K01DP online. And so that's what it looks like.
Yeah. And then auto 1, auto 2,
Yeah.
manual.
And then if you press menu, I think, then you'll see a bunch of menus. And then at the very top, you'll see a thing called traceability. And if you press that, you'll see another bunch of squiggly information. And then the prize is if you press pass, in other words, it passed this test of traceability. At the very bottom, you'll see the date code, which is, I'm assuming, the date of assembly or manufacturing of your device.
You should blog it.
You should, blog that, Dave.
I should blog that. Oh, yeah.
Now I know the birthday of my phone, May 29th. Yay.
Mine is October the 3rd, 2016.
Huh. So are these all tests for these things?
Well, from what has the information that's been gathered is that this is a TCL thing. I went and did it on my Priv no-go. The Priv doesn't do this. Yeah, so it's not an Android thing. It's a manufacturer thing. So I do not know if in the end an Optimus or an Aurora would do this, right? Or an Aurora. An Aurora might do it, but Aurora, no.
Aurora.
I really don't know. But for sure, it's a TCL thing. It's not a BlackBerry thing, and it's not a basic Android thing. It's a manufacturer thing. What I was going to do is seeing if I could find all of the secret squirrel codes that I could muster, and then, you know, blog about that. But that's the only one I know right now. Well, apart from the ones that you can use for, you know, doing beta testing and whatnot, getting in and out of the beta testing programs, which are down to $1.
Yeah, it's just tests for each individual thing. This is kind of cool.
Yeah. There you go.
Nice, Dave.
Or something. Well, don't thank me. I don't even remember who came up with it, but it's
Now, how do I get out of it?
Just kill the app. You're in the phone app. Just do the right square button and kill it.
It's not happening. It's still there.
Well, that's all I had to do on the DTAC.
Yeah, it's not working, Dave.
What about swipe up a little bit? Do you get this square?
No, the square is part of my screen. Oh, there it goes. Nope. That's testing the camera now.
Okay, well, don't try this at home, kids.
Am I gonna have to reset again? Is this the actual trick?
No, it's not.
Guess what, Brad? You get to factory reset again.
I get into it, and yeah, my little black square just minimizes it.
Oh, I've got an exit on mine. You scroll all the way to the bottom. There's an exit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the square doesn't do anything.
Did you know that an exit is an it that used to be an it, and now it's an X it?
Thanks for watching, folks. This has been.
Yeah.
That's what we need. A sign off. We need a good sign off when something stupid happens and we know it's time to escape.
Yeah.
Our sign off is fumbling through good night.
Yeah. UTB Blogcast listeners, send us your favorite sign off. and make sure it's not just Erica going, "Are we done yet?"
Yeah.
Hey, it works.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay, I say we call it.
All right.
We come back next week with something a little more exciting, and maybe I'll figure out how to brush my hair that time.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.